Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the country's biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And we've got one for you today. A man who's shot to fame on a TV reality show and since then has taken over the world of charts. And now, believe it or not, is a farmer. JB Gill, how are you?
Hey, I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Isn't it funny how life changes? 1 minute you're playing Wembley to 700 million people and the next minute you're digging up carrots.
Well, not quite. I can't keep carrots alive long enough. But yeah, do you know what? Life has that funny way of being fluid. You know, we can all do more than one thing, and you know, I'm really enjoying sort of getting to grips with the farm world, and yeah, it's brought me to speaking to you and to all these lovely listeners, so it's brilliant.
It's interesting how you've been willing to sort of go, okay, I've got other things in life like family. A lot of people's ego overwhelms them and they're unable to walk away. You seem to be incredibly happy. You're almost an inspiration in a way.
Wow, well, thank you for that. Do you know what? For me, there obviously are all aspects of my life that I enjoy, you know, and I'm very blessed and very lucky to be able to I guess include them you know, among my career pursuits. And for me, it's always been about enjoying what I do. I think if you can enjoy your work, you're in a very privileged position. And as much as I love music, I've always enjoyed music. One of the things that I've loved so much about music is being involved in a group. And as we know, myself and the JLS boys are not working together in a group capacity anymore. So for me, there was no real desire to go into, I guess, a solo pursuit of music. So, you know, so that's kind of how I stepped back a little bit and you know, I guess took a look at some of the other things that I'm passionate about and decided to go down that route. But at the same time, you know, it's one of the things that I worked out probably about 2 years into wanting to go into farming was that actually I'm able to use a lot of those talents, a lot of those skills, you know, interacting with the media, involving in entertainment, even music still, to I guess, shine a light on what I think is an incredibly important industry for our society, and something that I'm incredibly passionate about.
Well, and again, if you look at the stuff you've done on CBBC, it's amazing because kids need to know where their carrots come from and where their sausages come from, and that's really the root of all of this, whether it's Countryfile or CBBC. What you're doing is educational, and this week particularly is interesting. It's Farm Safety Week, and we say, why do we need that? But I would imagine one wrong mistake on a farm, and literally it's life-threatening, isn't it?
Absolutely, you know, and I think it's important to highlight that a lot of the cases, you know, in the last year, 29 people have died on a farm, which is higher than the industry average of 18. And it's important to highlight that those, for the most part, are accidental, you know, but at the same time, obviously, that number is just way too high. And I think, you know, when you look at how important and impactful the farming industry is on our society, it's really important for us to do everything that we can in order to bring that number down, and that's what this week is all about. Farm Safety Week and Yellow Wellies obviously are back in the campaign, the Farm Safety Foundation as well, in order to get people talking about it and to promote best practice for working farms as well as you know, environments where people might potentially accidentally stray onto a farm.
Let's talk about your life. This is what I envisage. The cockerel wakes you up about 4 o'clock in the morning in the summer, and then you go outside and get yourself some fresh eggs, and then you wake the wife up, and then you make scrambled eggs, and this is the beginning to your day every single day. Is it as idyllic as it sounds, or is it bloody hard work? Because the reality is the chickens have got to be fed and cleaned out and all of that stuff. Or is it sort of the country life where you're making butter all afternoon?
I mean, it's a bit of both. That was a pretty accurate start to the day. But you know what? I must be honest. You know, I get the best of both. You know, I do live in a semi-rural area, so I'm not sort of out in the sticks, so to speak. And you know, I can get into London, which is probably my closest major town, relatively easily. But at the same time, you know, it's literally just myself and my wife who look after our farm animals. We have Kelly Bond's turkeys. We've got about 200 arriving in the next couple of weeks. You know, alongside that, we've also got the Tamworth pigs as well. You know, and it is hard work, and I think that's one of the things that I've learned the most about is the fact that, you know, for the average farmer, you look at, you know, the summer that we have in, we talk about the weather. You know, so many things can change and make a farmer's job, job incredibly difficult. And for us, obviously, I do television work, I do lots of other bits and pieces, but for the average farmer, they don't have that. You know, what they produce is their livelihood. And if you have a summer as hot as we've had, you know, with all the grasses dying, you know, where some of the crops may well potentially be at risk because there's not much water around, that can be devastating to an annual crop, and for many of these people, that is their only livelihood. So it's a very, very difficult industry. They do get a bad rap for a lot of things, and this is another thing that can, as I say, in terms of farm safety and talking about the numbers that HSE have released this year, they can get a real bad rap for the fact that those numbers of fatalities on farms is so high. But as I say, the intention is obviously of any farm or farmer is not to have that record, so to speak, and for not for it to be negative at all. I think people are employing best practice on their farms. They are thinking about farm safety, and that is at the forefront of many farms across the country. And really, it's just about getting behind those people, but also speaking to people who might not live on a farm or might not go to the farm very frequently, and encouraging them to be thinking about it as well when they go and visit that farm, as on a family trip in the summer, that they're also aware that there can potentially be dangerous machinery or equipment around, and to be aware of some of the dangers and to say, hopefully ultimately bring that fatality number down.
And before we go, let's just talk about your life. I mean, we've seen you recently on the TV. You did The Jump and MasterChef and things like that. What I'm fascinated about with you is how you can stand and have that adoration. I'm a deeply unattractive man, JB. I've never had women fawning over me. You've had this most of your life and career, and to not have that must be strange. Do you have any yearning to stand on a stage again?
Not particularly. For me, the standing on the stage element was less about the adoration and more about the skill and what I was doing. And for me, obviously, performing alongside brothers and friends effectively was what I loved the most about it, and the adoration and the fame and all the other bits and pieces that come with it, as far as I'm concerned, are very much a byproduct. That's not the reason why we did it. That's not the reason why we entered into it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I guess we've all of us in JLS have managed to remain relatively grounded, if I may say so myself. But it's also one of the reasons why I've been able to step away and do other things. And I value my family life and my relationship with my wife over and above anything else that I might achieve in terms of my career, any money that I might earn, anything like that. Because as far as I'm concerned, if something was to happen to me, speaking on the topic where I might get injured on the farm, they're going to be the people that are going to be rallying around me and helping me through that process. So, I value that very highly. And, for me, whatever I do next, I'm presenting on various different TV shows at the moment, and as you say, there is definitely an educational slant there, and education is something I'm passionate about, especially because I have young children, and I want to keep that up. I think that, as I say, my history and my past and some of the things that I've done in my career allow me to have that platform, and I ultimately want to use that platform for good. And as I say, this is one way to do that with the Farm Safety Week campaign and the work that Yellow Wellies are doing, which I'm effectively leading this week.
And does any number one record come close to the feeling of being hugged by your child? I imagine that has to be your biggest achievement in life. That's got to be a beautiful feeling.
Absolutely, and it's one of those things you can't really prepare for in life. But as I say, for me, that holds the most value, and being able to share, what I'm doing and especially the farming lifestyle with my family is important. And, it's one of those things, speaking on the topic as well, you don't want to ever think about losing a child's life as a result of coming to a farm. For me, and anybody that I've met actually, that grew up on a farm, they're some of their happiest memories and something that they always that remains with them forever. And I think it's such an incredible place to grow up and an incredible place to experience if you don't grow up there. And so it's all about really just hitting that home that it's a place to be enjoyed, and we want people to be able to enjoy it as safely as possible.
I always felt you boys were so credible and so good at what you did. You kept it classy, and we wish you all the best. JB Gill, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.